Hello, boys and ghouls. Make sure you subscribe and don't forget about that damn notification bell. Today, we're going to be talking about Alfred Hitchcock, cinematic suspense master of all time. And of course, my top 3 picks of his most suspenseful films ever. You're not scared, are you?
First I watched them just to kill time, but then I couldn't take my eyes off them.
First up, we have Rear Window. This is one of those high-end Hollywood star type of flicks. Jimmy Stewart or James Stewart and Grace Kelly star in this, and this is about a news photographer who had an accident and he has a broken leg and he has nowhere else to go, so he spends his time watching the neighbors out his rear window of his apartment, and he ends up thinking that he's seeing one of the neighbors commit a horrible crime. Murder. What Alfred Hitchcock likes to do in his films is he likes to draw the audience's eyes. In other words, while he's directing, he will specifically pull the camera in one direction and make you look in that direction, and you are right there on the edge of your seat. That is why he is a suspense master. He uses his own particular formula of panning in and panning out throughout a lot of his films. He uses the same thing in Psycho at least 3 different times.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Good afternoon. Here we have a quiet little motel, tucked away off the main highway, and as you see, perfectly harmless looking, when in fact, it has now become known as the scene of the crime.
Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho is one of his most notorious films to date, starring Anthony Hopkins and Janet Leigh. And for those of you who don't know who Janet Leigh is, that is Jamie Lee Curtis's mother. That is a pedigree right there in Hollywood. Janet Leigh's character, Marion, is the main focus of the film, having an opportunity to take a very large sum of money and deciding to actually steal the money and run away with it. And she comes to the Bates Motel, where we are not aware of the dangers that are pending just around the corner, and we find out that there is a very real danger and a morality to the situation that she had put herself in. What I'm going to do for you guys here is I am going to show you a side-by-side view of the most infamous shower scene in Psycho and the remake of Psycho of 1998, starring Vince Vaughn and Anne Heche. Now, another little secret that some fans may know and some fans may not know is that the blood scene of the original 1960 film was actually not of any form of stage blood or prop blood. It was actually Hershey's chocolate syrup, because he noticed that with the black and white film, it diluted in the water just the way that the blood should look, whereas you can see in the remake that it was a little too red.
This isn't a few birds. These are gulls, crows, swifts.
I have never known birds of different species to flock together. The very concept is unimaginable. Why, if that happened, we wouldn't have a chance. What do you think they were after?
I think they were after the children.
For what purpose?
To kill them.
The Birds is a what-if movie. What if the Birds decided that it was time to just avenge all the things that people have done when they've caged many, many different species and they've killed many different species. And let's not forget the fact that at one point in time, birds were a dominant species. And I think the fact that they would all come together in a complete mass group is what makes this more frightening than anything else. A fun fact is, for those who don't know already, is that Alfred Hitchcock used a large amount of real live birds. Most of them did have animatronics in some of the scenes, but there are quite a bit of real birds where they were basically thrown or let loose and they just would attack. Could you imagine if you're sitting at home or work or at school and all of a sudden just millions of different birds started to attacking people without giving you a particular motive or a reason why? Well, that's going to do it for today's episode, guys. I hope that you enjoyed. Please remember to subscribe, like, leave a comment if you have any suggestions for future content. Keep digging.